So as you find your sit bones, take a nice deep breath in and let it out with a little sigh. And then take a nice deep breath in again and pause at the top. And hold it. 3, 2, 1, and blow it out. And hold it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do one more cycle of this, inhaling for 4. Pause for 4. Exhale for 8. Pause for 8. And inhale for 4. And exhale for 8. And inhale for 4. And exhale for 8. We'll do 3 more rounds of inhale for 4. And exhale for 8. Last round. Very nicely done. Again, check in with that pelvic floor. Anchor into those hips. Grow nice and tall. Touch the top of your head and feel your crown grow long. And take a nice deep belly in and exhale that chin to your chest, rolling only the neck forward. And without putting your hand on the back of your head, just notice on the exhale how the chin will deepen in the fold. Slowing your breath to just even breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Staying with it, feeling on the exhale, that lengthening through the neck. Two more breaths. And on the next inhale, inhale, bringing the head up. Taking a moment. Growing long in the crown. And on the next inhale, lengthen through the crown. And then exhale your neck and turn your nose to look over the right shoulder. Now, the interesting thing about only doing neck work to start with is that first opening movements, unless you've been awake for a couple hours, The neck will sometimes be cool. Find your breath, keep breathing. Same thing here, growing long in the crown. Exhaling, turning through to the right. No forcing. Now notice if your shoulders are coming up. If they're coming up, soften them down. Nicely done. Inhaling, growing long through the crown. Exhaling, turning to the right. We're going to do 3 more breaths here. Nicely done. Nice long inhale through the crown. Exhale. Long exhale. We're going to turn the head all the way to the left. Do this slowly. If you have tension in your neck, if you do it quickly, sometimes the vertebrae will be misaligned and it'll make you dizzy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just something to be mindful of. Take a nice deep breath in through the crown. Exhale. Look over your shoulder. Now, what I notice in my body is that I can look farther over my right shoulder than I can my left shoulder. There's no judgment in this. It's just a noticing of where I might be holding. Where might my restrictions be? Where might my resistance be? So the left side of the body is all about nurturing and caring for ourselves, the nurturing and caring for others. It's a more feminine side energetically. It's about gentleness. Interesting that would be where my resistance is. So I'm just going to embrace that, bring my breath into the idea of softening in to caring for me. Take that in if that resonates with you. Blow out anything you don't need. Deepen that turn in your neck. On the next inhale, we're going to exhale, turn our head back to center. This time we're going to inhale long and exhale, lower our chin to our chest while lengthening through the crown. Changes the lowering of the neck. Bringing our hands behind our head without pressing, just the weight of your hands is going to encourage that. Now notice as you bring your arms up, that your shoulders come up too. What would it feel like to let them soften down your back? Oh, and I just looked down and I had let my core go, my belly button go. What would it feel like to lengthen through that pelvic floor, engage that belly button back to the spine, lengthen through the crown, and let the weight of your hands lengthen this back of your neck. And you might notice that as you're doing this, you actually feel the opening all the way down your spine. I'm even feeling it into my hips. So as a body worker, as a massage practitioner, myofascial release, I have noticed over my years of practice that what is above, so is below. So if you're having tension in your neck, you're likely having tension in your hips. So what would it feel like to soften your hips, soften your jaw, feel the opening in the back of the neck. Releasing the hands, making them open wide, giving a little circle in the shoulders, inhaling, drawing up through the crown. Exhaling, turning the nose to the right. Inhaling long. Exhaling, turning the nose to the left. Inhaling. Exhaling, bringing your nose back to center. Inhaling long. This time, let your palm of your hand first go to the floor of the right hand, and then exhale that right ear to that right shoulder. So the reason we let that palm go to the floor first is so we get the sense of the ear chasing the shoulder. Now with the left hand, I'm so tight through the neck muscles that my hand came off the floor. So work that left palm down. You're going to really feel it all the way from your ear, down the side of your neck, down your arm, into your fingertips. With the right hand, take an inhale, circle it up and over your head, and just let that hand rest on the side of your head. Sinking, opening it up. Breathing into it. Letting the body unwind in its own time. Now notice what's happening in the lower body. Did your pelvic floor go on vacation? Did you tighten your hips to hold you in place? Reverse that. Let the pelvic floor hold you. Bring the belly button back. And let those hips soften. And notice in the softening of the hips, the softening of the neck. Just notice. Bring your breath to the resistance. Two more breaths, nice and slow. Turn that thinking mind into the other room. Bring your attention back to your breath. And on the next inhale, release that hand. Exhaling, drawing that head up. Take a moment here, take a nice deep breath in. Notice the difference from the right side to the left side. Now, lengthen that left hand down to the floor. Let the palm go to the floor. Mine is working very hard to do that today. Softening out of the shoulder, lengthening through the crown. Take a nice deep inhale in. Exhale, let that ear go after that shoulder. Now, working through that right hand, pressing the palm of the right hand to the floor. Inhale that left hand up. Exhaling, letting the weight of the hand come down onto the head. Feel the opening. How is this different? Now, this is a really good thing that you guys can do if you've been doing any work at your desk, anything that requires you to kind of look forward and down. Just notice how it opens up that whole neck body. Breathing into it. Notice what's happening elsewhere in the body. Sometimes when we begin to have some space and silence in between movements, the monkey mind loves to jump in and narrate. Just notice it, and then bring your attention back to your breath. 2 more breaths. Inhaling, releasing that hand, exhaling down. Taking a nice deep breath in, rolling those shoulders forward, up, and back. Begin to add some seated cat-cow to this. As you go forward, you can cat into it. As you go backwards, you can cow into it. So you inhale backwards, exhale forward. Really, if you have to get your elbows into it, you can. See if you can get those shoulders really moving. And so this really affects the first rib and the collarbone. In my body, it affects all the ribs, all the way down. We have 12 ribs on each side of the body. The last one being a floating rib, so it just kind of hangs out, but every other rib is connected to the sternum and to the spine. So the sternum is the breastbone. And we have muscles in between that. So see if you can get the sense of in the inhale, those ribs expanding, and on the exhale, they contract, helping us breathe. Okay, we're gonna pause up here. Up here with our shoulders up near our ears. Does that feel familiar? Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale them up. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale them up. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale them up. Exhale, drop them down. This time, inhale up something that's really been bothering you, and exhale, drop it down. Again. One more time. Nicely done. This time, inhale them up. Exhale them forward. Inhale them back. Give that cow. Inhale them up and exhale them forward and back. Begin to really bring the whole spine into this. See if as you cat-cow, if you can feel the spine begin to have like a wave movement. Close your eyes. See what's happening on the interior. Really let those shoulders come up. Let them go down. Now, I find that I have a little more trouble bringing my shoulders forward than I do bringing them back. That's my training, my years of training as a small child being told, stand up, pull your shoulders back. But it's okay to move your shoulders forward too. One more time, nice deep breath in. Exhaling, let your hands come forward. Grab onto those legs right here in front of you. Grow up tall and long. Nice deep breath. Lengthen through that crown almost as if you're drinking in the sun. And then exhaling it back. Inhaling deep. So I keep having this beautiful vision of inhaling golden nectar, life. Blowing out, exhaling anything you don't need. Again, inhaling it in, drop those shoulders back. Lengthen through the crown, just a nice little back bend. Exhaling out. Coming back in, checking in with the self. One more time. Deep breath in, breathing in the nectar of life. And exhaling back to seated. Releasing those hands. Coming off your blanket, bringing your feet to standing. Hands come behind you. So palms of your hand, fingertips facing you. We're just gently going to begin to rock side to side. Do this very slowly. Nice and gentle. Opening the hips up. We've been sitting in easy pose so the hips might be a little tight. Or in my case, my hips are just a little tight. And that's okay. And then begin to maybe bring some arms into it, deepening the twist. Keeping it slow, but deepening the twist. And just going right across the body. So we're opening the shoulders as if it's in the same plane as the earth. And then we're going to take it up like we're going to reach to the sky, changing the direction. Changing the direction, picking up the speed. Begin to add some voice to it. Ha. 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 And then begin to lift into it. Ha. Ha. And remembering that if it's in you, ha, to lift up, do so, ha. Ha. And if it's not, stay seated. Ha. Ha. Now, if you have something you need to throw away, ha, throw it away. Ha. Ha. Pick it up. Ha. Ha. Bring the energy into it. Ha. 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 3 more each side. Ha. 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 Last one each side. Ha. Ha. And bring it back down. Keep moving, slowing it down. And then coming across the body. All right. This time pausing right here. Right arm up, pausing. Stretch it out. So this is more of a twist rather than a lift. Knees are connecting to the earth. Core is engaged. Arm is under the shoulder, lengthening through the crown, reaching for the corner of the room. Two more breaths. Inhale, reach those fingertips. Exhale, lowering down, bringing those knees back to center. Headed the other way. Reach towards the opposite corner. Reach it. So it's interesting where we sometimes feel the stretch in our body. Where do you feel it? Close your eyes. Find your breath. Connect in. Engage that pelvic floor. Lengthen through the crown. I'm feeling this deep underneath my belly button. Deep, deep, deep. Into the pelvic floor, into the psoas. The psoas, the muscle of the soul. It's also the only bidirectional muscle in the body. It has a very big, important job. It's where our gut feeling sits on top of the psoas. 2 more breaths. And last one, exhaling, coming out of it. Now, I've walked all over the place on my mat, so I'm going to just take a second and readjust it back to straight because that's a thing for me. And then I'm going to come back into seated. Now, as you come back into seated, let your legs not necessarily be hooked into one another, but just let them kind of rest apart. See if you can open the knees a little wider, but not quite into cobbler's pose. And just take a minute to sit. Grow long in the crown. Breathe. Can you feel what's different? Can you feel the energy move? Is it possible to soften the hips just a teeny bit and rise up through the crown? Resting in easy pose. Nicely done. On the next inhale, we're going to turn and we're going to come into tabletop, although we're not going to stay here. We're going to just find our table and then come into low lunge. So this is a great place if you're a block user to find your blocks. And if you need a blanket underneath your back knee, you can do that. So we're going to inhale and sink forward and pause. Now, from right here in low lunge, we're going to draw the front knee back and the right knee forward. So what happens is all the work is right here at the root chakra. It's our connection to the earth. This is the only posture that it's okay for your knee to pass your ankle because you're supported on the backside. Your ankle's not supporting, your knee is not supporting all of your body weight. So allow yourself to really soften forward. Imagine that as you're pulling your knee back and your front knee back and your back knee forward, you're squaring off the hips. Sink down as if you're going to touch your pubic bone to the earth. Now, in your mind, this is going to be a huge dynamic move. In reality, it's about 1/4 of an inch. But feel the front of that back leg open. Tip the chin, grow long in the crown. 2 more breaths. Last one. Inhale, core is engaged, sinking all the way back, right here. Keep your body on your leg. Keep that forward fold going. See how far back you can go. Now, I don't go far back because I have super tight hamstrings, so my knee has a pretty good bend in it. If your knee has a pretty good bend in it, that's okay. The trick here is to challenge the edge. So we have our body on the top of our leg. We're lengthening through the crown of our head. Our toes are flat on the mat. Nice long inhale. Exhale, sit back. Sit back straight. Both hips are going straight back. If you begin to collapse over into the left hip, bring yourself back to center. Square off those hips and sink straight back. Find your breath. And notice if anything comes up for you here. And when I say does anything come up, memories, ideas, things that have been said, perhaps resistance, ideas that you maybe don't want to hear. And notice as you begin to explore those thoughts, the knee will begin to soften and open and you can sit back. So in my mind, my knee is straightening. In my physical body, I won't know until I look at the video. It's always interesting what I imagine is happening. And the beautiful thing is that we don't know the difference between imagination and what's real. When we have our eyes closed, if we imagine that we are lengthening through our legs, then the body will begin to follow. That's why it's really important to pay attention to what you're imagining. On the next inhale, draw up and sink back forward, going straight forward again. Now, notice here the difference from the first time that you sank forward to now. Now, work those knees together, find your breath. Again, imagine that pubic bone reaching down, lengthening through. 2 more breaths. Nicely done. Engage that pelvic floor. Bring that left hand and place it next to your right foot. If you have a block, bring the block with you. Engage that pelvic floor and spin open into a twist. Now, be mindful of where your twist is today. Do it slowly. Take time. Find your breath. Lengthen through your crown. If you can look towards your hand, you may. If your neck doesn't want to turn that way, then don't. It's nice and warm, so it might. Find your breath. Three more. 2 more. Inhale through that hand, exhale, coming down, bringing that foot all the way back into tabletop. First, find your table right here. Find your table, then open your knees wide and sink back. So a little exploration here as you sink back. How does my right and left side differ? And that's all the way from the fingertips of your right hand to the toe tips of your right foot and the fingertips of your left hand and the toe tips of your left foot. Just notice. Notice how there's a difference between right and left. It doesn't matter. It's okay, because we're going to balance it out. I just really want the awareness of how it differs. On the next inhale, rising back up, coming first into tabletop just to balance your body, and then bring that left foot forward. You have to come out of it to get there, that's fine. And then sinking straight down. Okay, so notice I don't sink as far on this side, just because I'm working through some emotional, mental stuff of what I think I can do and what I think I can't do. And it is a thought process. So in changing our thoughts, we can change our world. As you sink forward, square those hips off and then begin to draw the left knee back and the right knee forward, energetically bringing the power to our center, engaging that pelvic floor, finding your breath. Noticing that the release happens on the exhale. Three more breaths. Last one. Inhale, and on the exhale, begin to move straight back, keeping that body on the leg. No, don't come up at this point. This is about the forward fold. Keeping those toes down. Now notice what's happening in the knee. My knee is beginning to collapse and roll in. So I have to consciously think about spinning my knee open to the little toe. Otherwise, I collapse this way versus this way. And so it's a strength, it's a power move to engage that quad, which is the top part of your leg, pulling your kneecap up. Staying down, lengthening through that crown, engaging that pelvic floor. And again, notice the thoughts that begin to come up. Notice maybe memories that arise. Sometimes as we hold posture, if we fell off of our bike when we were 7, that memory might come up. It's interesting, the body holds our memory, cellular memory. The mind is simply the processor. Sinking straight back. Breathing into it. Noticing where the release happens. Remembering to grow long in your crown. Three more breaths. Feeling that back of that leg begin to open. One more. On the next inhale, we're going to begin to move straight forward, back into lunge, low lunge. Nice deep inhale, exhaling forward, square off those hips. Re-engage the pelvic floor, bring that right hand into the left foot. Engage that belly button to the spine and spin open. Breathing into it. Noticing how this twist is different. Finding your breath. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep exhale. 2 more. Last one. Inhale through those fingertips. Exhale. Returning back. Bringing that foot back. This time, as you find yourself in tabletop, keep your knees underneath your hips and sink straight back. You may not sink as far, and that's okay. Just sink as far as you can go. And if you have any knee injuries, be mindful of that. Notice where you might feel an opening in this posture. Notice where you might be feeling resistance. So noticing the resistance is a challenge for thinking mind to change. And it's important that during the noticing that there is no judgment. On the next inhale, we're going to rise back up into tabletop. We're going to curl our toes under, walking our hands back. We're going to just roll right up onto our feet, walking all the way back. Now, from right here, If you need help, walk your hands up your legs all the way to standing. Take a moment, open your eyes, make sure that you're not dizzy. Hands come down, take a nice deep breath in. Feel yourself connect into the earth. So mountain pose is one of those postures that is in our thinking mind, or mine anyway, in my thinking mind, oh, this is an easy posture. However, it's one of the most powerful postures in yoga, standing grounded in our own 2 feet. So let's work with this. Pick your toes up. Feel your big toe, ball of your big toe and the ball of your little toe connect to the earth. So your toes are off the ground. And then you're connected in through the ball of your foot and then through the heel, inside and outside of your heel. Now from right here with your toes still up, so it takes a lot of strength to hold your toes up. If it's making you tired, you can set them down and rest, it's okay. Spin your knees open. Nicely done. Drop out of your tailbone, lift up through that pelvic floor and draw that belly button back to your spine. Lift up through your heart. Feel the shoulder blades go down your back and grow long in your crown. And as you grow long in your crown, notice how the head naturally comes back over the shoulders, your ears over your shoulders. Palms are facing forward. Now, without giving it too much thought, let the little toes set down on the ground. And if all your toes go down, that's okay. Imagine that you're setting your 4th toe down and your 3rd toe and your 2nd toe and your big toe. Now, notice where you're holding. Because you've challenged yourself something new, I tightened right up in the hips. What happens if you let go of the hips? Keep strong in the pelvic floor. Nicely done. Inhaling, softening your gaze into the room. Find a point on the floor that you can look at and lock in on it. We're going into balance pose. So on the next inhale, pour into your right foot. Release that left foot up. Lift that foot up and open it up all the way, coming right in to tree. So we're standing here with our hands open. Let's just bring them up overhead. We're going to head right in to full tree. Locking in on that point that's not moving, called the Dristi point, a point of focus. You'll see my focus is a little less than locked in. There it is. Find your breath. We're going to do 5 long, slow breaths. I'm going to grow quiet. Exhaling, gently jumping out of your tree or falling out of your, I just fell out of my tree. Sometimes we fall out of our trees. So give your hips some space, open them up. Even that leg that was open and not quote unquote working, it is working because it's opening. Coming back into mountain. So reestablish your mountain pose. Lift those toes off the floor. Spin the knees open. Open your palms, engage that pelvic floor, soften through the tailbone, lengthen through the crown, lifting through the heart. Setting the toes down, little toe, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, big toe. So the toes are really important in our balance. Feel that whole foot connect to the earth. Pour into the left foot. Pouring into the left foot, square off the hips. Release the right foot. Open it up. As you hook the leg, connect the foot to the leg, make sure that you're not hooking the knee. So above or below, inhaling the arms up overhead. Finding one point that's not moving. Pour all your attention and focus. Remember to keep that pelvic floor and the belly button drawn back, going long in your crown. Breathing into it, dropping out of your shoulders. 5 long breaths. Inhaling through those fingertips, exhaling, lowering out of your arms, stepping or jumping or falling out of your tree. Do it gently. Nicely done. So moving to the center of your mat and opening those legs wider than your hips. Just open them. And then begin to do some circles here. Now I really love this, just circling, because my hips always pop and it feels so delicious. So if there's movement through the hip girdle, that's okay. Allow it to happen. But this is really good. Now begin to bring your knees into it, because the synovial fluid in the hips and the knees and the ankles really love this, because it keeps it open, fluid, warm, whatever word you want to give it, okay? Coming back to center, opening those feet a little bit wider. We're gonna spin the toes open just a little bit, and we're gonna sink down, but then we're gonna sink into the left leg. Open the knee, and then we're gonna inhale to center and sink into the right knee. And inhale to the center. So the trick here is not to go forward. I feel like I'm falling forward. So as you sink back and inhale up and sink back and inhale up. So this time as we sink into that right foot, we're just gonna hang out here, sinking down. And inhaling up and sinking into the other leg. I might have confused you guys, sorry about that. Nicely done. Inhaling up, turning those toes to center, exhaling, hinging at the hips, headed straight forward, lengthening through the crown, hands come to the floor. I just took a quick look at my feet, and my left foot is ahead of my right foot. Take a look at your feet. Did you have a change in your body like that? So we all have a natural rotation in our body. I'm going to invite you to square your hips up, bring that foot back, and then drop into the forward fold here. Remember to let the knees open as if they're opening to the little toe. It's really an energetic move. Breathe into it. Walk those hands out in front of you if you have the space to do so where you're at. Kind of a wide angle downward facing dog. Drop out of your head, shake it no. Shake it yes. Lengthen through the hips, lift it up, let the heart travel to the knees. This is different than regular downward facing dog. Breathing into it. 3 more breaths. Beginning to feel the body to cool and come down. Walk those hands back in. Engage that floor, pelvic floor. You can help yourself up, walking yourself up, hands to your hips. Take a minute, feel the change. You can walk your feet in or you can jump them in wherever you're at in your body. Taking a nice, come back into the front of your mat, taking a nice deep inhale in. Exhale, squatting all the way down. Now my squat isn't very deep. A lot of you are going to be able to go all the way to the floor. And if you can, do that. Sitting on your heels. I can't do that. So 2 more breaths, you can do it. And then release those knees down. Coming all the way down. Spinning around. Coming all the way around. all the way to the floor. It's a long journey, but we're going there. All the way back. So we're going to lengthen through the right foot, and we're going to lengthen through the left foot. Our hands are going to come down beside us, palms facing down. Roll those shoulders underneath us. Engage that pelvic floor. And then we're going to slide our hands back, and we're going to come up on our elbows right here. So this is level 1 right here. This might be your posture, just bringing those shoulder blades together. Lengthening through the crown, engaging that pelvic floor. Now, if you have the space, begin to lift through the heart, lengthen through the crown. Now, there's 2 things that I want to really, really stress. Avoid dropping your head back, okay? Continue to lengthen through the crown. Now, you can tip your head back and lengthen through the crown. But when you drop your head back, it collapses on the neck, on the spinous processes of the neck. And you want to protect the neck. Keep drawing down through the shoulders. Keep lifting through the heart. And if you find that you're getting dizzy, tip your chin forward and lengthen through your head. 3 more breaths. This is a heart opener. This is a back bend. This is called fish pose. 2 more breaths. Bring your head up, engage your core again, and roll yourself down. Hands come up overhead. Point the fingers, point the toes. Very nicely done. So all that neck opening was leading right to that posture from a whole while ago. Take a nice deep breath in, scoop in the right knee. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it all the way to the floor. Switch legs, bring that left knee in. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it all the way to the floor. Now bring the right knee in, draw it in. So this is level 1. We're going to do alternating knees. Release it all the way to the floor. Bring it in. Now, if this is too hard on your lower back, having your legs straight, you can do this with feet in standing, which is right here, like this. And what that does is it just simply takes the pressure off your low back. It's a little bit easier to do. All right. For those of you who are ready for level 2, lift your shoulders off the floor. Okay. Here we go. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. So important things here. We're doing forward. So make sure that core is involved. Belly button's going to the floor. Okay. Level 3s. If you're really ready to go crazy, feet off the floor and switching. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. These are little short, brisky breaths. We're going to do 5 more each side. Three more. You can do it. Go at whatever level you can do. Last one. Hold that right knee in. Hover here. And lower your head down. Keep the left leg off the floor. Keep the right knee off the floor. Breathing. Keep breathing. You got it. Pelvic floor. Inhale, switch it out. Right foot hovers. Left foot in. And left knee in. Bring that right knee in to meet the left knee. Draw them both in. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Now, just do some little rocking motion. So I love doing this rocking motion because it stimulates the lymphatic system. And our lymphatic system is the main support to our health, moving any unnecessary waste that we don't need out. The thing is, the trick with the lymphatic system is it doesn't work unless we work it. So massage will move the lymph, exercise will move the lymph, movement, a whirlpool or a jacuzzi will move the lymph, anything that stimulates the skin, dry brushing. So nicely done, 3 more breaths. Last one, good job. Bringing those feet down, setting them the width of the mat apart on the floor flat. Inhaling, opening the hands into a T, lengthening through the crown, exhaling. We're gonna drop these knees all the way to the left. Okay, this is a pretty gentle twist. We did some deeper twists earlier. Take a nice deep inhale, turn that nose to face the right hand. Breathe into it. Feel the body beginning to cool, the twisting. Now, if you want to deepen this twist, you can take your left foot and place it on top of the right knee, and it'll deepen this twist. It also opens the IT band. Make sure your pelvic floor is engaged. We're going to protect that low back. I'm going to grow quiet. We're going to have 5 breaths. If you have your foot on top of your leg, release it down. Inhale your nose back to center. Exhale, engage that pelvic floor. Inhale, bring those knees back to center. Draw them in. Do a little bit of more lymphatic movement. We've opened some things up. We're going to invite it to move into the main channel. The main lymphatic channel runs deep in the center of the body, behind the breastbone. Deep, it's a deep channel. Set those feet down. Open them wide, open the arms wide, engage that pelvic floor. Exhale, drop them to the right. Look to the left. Again, you have the option of deepening this by placing that right foot on top of the left knee. Work at your level. More is not necessarily good. Sometimes less is more. So if you're somebody who generally is given the option to do more, therefore you do more, try something different. Be the person who just does enough, and avoid more. If you're somebody who is like, well, maybe this is just enough, challenge yourself. Do something different. Try it on. It may work, it may not. Okay, either way. On the next inhale, if you have your foot on top of your knee, release it down. Inhale, draw your nose back to center. Exhale, grow long in the crown. Inhale, Bring those knees back to center. Scoop them in. A little more rocking. Releasing that low back. Nicely done. Releasing the feet down to standing close to your behind. And if you're not on your mat, you might scooch down so that you are on your mat. Okay. Lengthen through the right leg. Lengthen through the left leg. Spin those hands open. Scoop the shoulders underneath you. Now, take a minute to check in. From this position right here, Shavasana, am I okay with my feet lengthened, or do I need to bring them to standing? It's cool out, so do I need a blanket? And wait a minute, we're going to Shavasana already. Do I need any other postures? Do I need a bridge? Do I need a downward facing dog? Nope. I just simply need to soften into Shavasana. Letting go of my feet, softening in the core, releasing the belly button. Noticing that my breath is growing shallow. My jaw is soft. My eyes grow heavy. My hands spin open to receiving, and my mind slips to that place of not here and not there as I grow quiet. Until you begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Inviting your body back to now. As you're ready, roll to your side. And when you're ready, you can return to easy pose, gently, effortlessly. Bringing your hands to your heart, we'll end with one Om. Nice deep breath in. Namaste.